Thank you for tuning in to another episode of WGC Fits. Today we are going to be talking about Callaway's new Opus and Opus Platinum wedges. Super premium wedges coming out from Callaway, where they are kind of redefining how they normally do wedges, which is pretty cool. So multiple finishes, we'll start there, available in both.
What colors?
We have in the one that you're hitting, chrome and black shadow, I believe it is called.
Yes.
And in the platinum, which we're going to talk about next, they have chrome and a blue finish. Looks like a kind of cool finish, like a gray face.
I love it. Actually.
So big things about this wedge, right? The whole idea is to create as low of a launch as possible with as high of a spin number as possible, right? Direct feedback from all the tour guys this year, and the main target and the main goal was to create that. So they've completely redesigned the shape, completely redesigned the face, and completely redesigned and reconfigured where the center of gravity is in these wedges. To talk about essentially some of the face stuff that's going on, right? Because this will be the same for both this one and the Platinum. It starts off with Groove in Groove Tech, they're calling it, right? Now, if you look real closely at the face here, Mr. Ian, you are going to see that there are little grooves on these little verticals kind of actually going through the grooves, right? And what that's doing is essentially maximizing spin, but also helping control trajectory, okay?
So there's grooves going this way.
Correct, yep. There's also what they're calling the extra couple of grooves on the face, right? So there isn't a rule that limits how many grooves are allowed on the face. There is just a rule that a rule that limits how much space can be in between grooves, right?
And I believe the cut.
Correct, in the cut what it is, but the cut's the same and universal throughout. So what they're trying to do here is just maximize how many grooves they can get on the face. That's partly where the redesign and the reshape kind of comes from. Now, of the two, this one has a slightly larger footprint, if you will, right? And it's because they're trying to get a higher, let's say, toe peak is the kind of term they're calling. So basically a higher toe kind of wedge, but then also create something with a very rounded shape. So we're taking away actually a little bit of potential for that hosel to get caught and kind of snag on stuff. I could see the difference from here. It's actually
there's a lot of space on the toe compared to my width.
Yeah, right. Now the other thing is they have another kind of tech that's in there, again, supposed to help attempt to maximize again, spin and trajectory on especially kind of your little half shots, right? They're calling it aggressive face blast.
So what is face blasting again?
So with the aggressive face blast, what it's allowing you to do is essentially generate higher spin on your partial shots, right?
Okay.
So little pitches, little chips. Think of it as almost like a little face milling kind of thing going on, right?
I like it.
Aggressive face blast. So that is the Opus in a nutshell, right? What I care about is, does it look good, does it feel good, and does it actually perform in a window that you know I'm a big stickler for when we're doing wedge fittings, which is good launch, lower launch, and then proper spin.
And ground interaction.
Ground interaction is very important. They have lots of sole options kind of out there for this. Let's see what this does.
Well, looking at it, until you said the toe thing, I didn't notice it, but that's a lot of toe.
As soon as we switch to this one, you're gonna see a little bit of a different shape.
Yeah.
Personally, I love the way the next one looks.
So this is the regular.
Yep.
And it's in a 54.
Yep.
How far you want this?
Let's go 100. That's a relatively chippy one for you.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was pretty low. Okay,
That was a great launch. That was 25.
I know, that was a lot.
That was actually really good because that's good spin too. You struck that relatively well. Hit a couple here. Give me one more.
I mean, that was very low for me, honestly.
That was a great wedge shot. I mean, 25 launch, good spin, good landing angle. I love that.
What was the landing angle?
45.
With how much spin?
9,300.
Is it a lot?
For this shot, for you, yes.
How much, what's the next number?
Do 100 again. Just do all at 100. Keep it comparable. Well, same exact launch almost.
That should be right on the first one. Oh, there you go.
Dude, those are almost the same shots.
I just wanted to let you see the total.
Yeah, that was really good. It was decent.
Still 100?
Still 100.
I tried to hit that one a little high.
You launched 2 degrees higher.
Yeah.
You didn't. You launched about half a degree higher. That's really good, dude. That's impressive.
So what do we got now?
We now have the platinum. So
I will say, I love the leading edge.
I love the leading edge here
Because
as
it's
well.
square. Here, wait.
It's a little bit of a different profile. So smaller profile overall, less rounded edge, more kind of squared off edge. The toe's a little bit different as well here, right? The big thing here is it's got all the same tech from the Opus, except they've also put a very large chunk of tungsten. It's a MIM tungsten weight, essentially, kind of positioned in the top of this club to really help with placing the center of gravity where they need it, right?
Which is much higher, I'm assuming.
Well, essentially much higher. This one's just supposed to help you get a lower launch with higher spin, even more so, right? So just protect against, let's say, some of the misses or missed strikes, you know? Very good. Now, both of these are playing on tour. I want to say both of these have tour wins already.
I think, did
So
Xander
it is
just
something-
win with this thing?
I don't know which one he has, but yes, he did. He's playing them. Because not all the Callaway guys put this in immediately. It's under a prototype name right now, but it is this wedge.
Okay. So we got the 58 and the Z-Grind, which is one of my favorites.
I'm a big fan of the Z-Grind myself.
So what are you expecting the launch for this to be then?
I honestly don't know. I've never hit a wedge that has a MIM tungsten weight in it, so we'll see.
How far you want?
Let's go 100 again. Can you get 100 out of 58?
No.
75?
80 would be good.
Let's go 80.
I'll just do the same swing that I did with that club.
Yeah, if we get it 80, we're good.
That looks lower than my 60, but this is a 58, so.
30 degrees of launch is not bad, my friend.
For a 58.
It's really good. Actually, that's incredibly good.
So does this tungsten thing also make it feel softer?
So,
Theoretically?
That's in theory going to be a yes. I'm going to have to say that that's going to be, honestly, it's one of those things where everybody's feel is different, right? Personally, everything that I've ever hit that has this MIM technology kind of stuff going on, I always love the way it feels, right? To me, it always feels not only softer, but also more solid, if that makes sense.
I will say it's very accurate.
It's a good launch. It's basically the same shot you just hit.
That went lower.
That launched at 27. Still had the same spin, still landed at 47.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's very, very cool.
So is this thing just revolutionary, or has this always been around?
That's pretty new for wedges.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'm a little bit excited to see companies finally start to put visual tech in that allows us to get, again, what I've always thought is the most important thing in a wedge in the first place, which is controlling trajectory and spin.
Yeah.
You know, typically, right, there's not many companies that kind of focus on this. And of late, there's been really two that I won't mention that have kind of dominated this category. But I gotta say, from what I've just seen today, knowing what your numbers normally are, there's definitely a third in that category now, and it's a very impressive one.
I mean, 70 feet for a 58 going 90 yards is pretty darn good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
like,
that's low.
Your numbers are really good with this wedge. I can't complain about this for you, you know? So I really like it, man. I definitely think that if you're in the market for wedges, you have to come and you have to try these because, again, I don't know if I can call it groundbreaking or revolutionary in golf because it's not the first time we've seen MIM stuff going on in golf. What I will say is, first time I've really seen it in a wedge, and I gotta say I'm quite impressed with this Callaway wedge, and I'm normally a pretty big fan of Callaway wedges. This might be really good, you know? So I would say it's AJ approved and WGC approved pretty easily.
Why don't you tell the people how many heads we have, how many shafts we have, because we got a whole fitting set of this thing.
If if you're looking to get fit, I've got many different heads, all the different bounces, lies, everything to kind of test.
And a few shafts.
And many different shafts as well. Lots of different profiles for people. With the wedge fitting setup, basically I can mix and match shafts and heads for
move
whatever
lie and
profile
loft.
we need.
With this
Lie
new
and loft,
fitting
make
thing.
it adjustable. It's pretty good. I will say from a wedge fitting perspective, that's pretty cool as well because they got a new fitting system now.
Yeah.
Which pretty big fan of. I know the video's not about that, but very cool. So we're definitely excited about these. If you guys are interested and want to check them out, please come check them out. And if you guys have any questions regarding any of this stuff, please let us know in the comment section. As always, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one.